Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the TV Tray Sessions here at Guitar Talk with Todd. Today we are remembering and sending out a salute to my dear friend, the late great Lonnie Mack, who passed away on April 21st of 2016. This is being recorded in 2024, so it's been 8 years. Unbelievable. I remember the day I heard the news. I was playing a show at Buddy Guy's Legends that night, and I played some of Lonnie's stuff and sent the whole set out to him, of course, and just very hard to do. As some of you know that follow this channel, I was very close with Lonnie when I used to go out with Beebe and was super close with him and his manager, Sid Seidenberg. That's how I ended up running into Lonnie out there on the road with different people and whatnot, and through different people. And Lonnie was just one of those guys that was super cool. So I just want to talk about him a little bit here and send a salute out to him on this day as I remember him. First time I ever met Lonnie, he was in a room backstage and he was sitting on a stool playing an acoustic guitar, and he used to roll his own cigarettes, as some of you may know, and he was smoking, and he was sitting there playing a guitar, and he just had a hat on. It just, the whole picture of cool that Lonnie was, and there was a group around him. So at first it was kind of backstage, and I couldn't really see him, but I could hear him playing. And then I sort of, made my way up. I mean, there wasn't a ton of people around, but there was people around him in a circle. And he was playing the song Running Wild, and I want to talk about that a little bit. If you ever get to grab a copy of Lonnie's, or hear Lonnie's fabulous CD live at Coco's, he does a version of it on here that sounds to a T of how he sounded that day I met him playing it. And this was originally an older song of Lonnie's that he had that was recorded much differently, but it always sounded awesome when he did it acoustically. Running Wild, that's probably my favorite Lonnie Mack song, believe it or not, and that's probably why, because it's so special. The first time I ever heard him play it, and his voice, just listen to the track if you can. It's just beautiful song, and Lonnie was known as a guitar hero, but what a voice too. Wow. I mean, he just, that man could sing. And so anyway, he got done, and I went up and talked to him, and we started talking about various things, and it was just kind of it was a good conversation. But then it was like, all right, man, I'll see you somewhere down the road. Yep. And I was like, wow, I just met Lonnie Mack. You're one of my heroes from when I was a kid. And sure enough, I would keep running in. I was like, wow, there's Lonnie again. And he remembered me. And, he would talk more and more in depth about guitars and whatnot, and how his, original Flying V went through the side of a car, and it was in accidents and whatnot. And we talk about different things, like how, at that time the Bigsby was too long because they didn't make the shorter one, so they had to put the extender or the bridge across the gap in the V's to get the Bigsby to go across. And, Lonnie was a pioneer of all that stuff, because a lot of people weren't doing that at the time, let alone using the Flying V when, Lonnie did. But Lonnie burst onto the scene. Wham was a big hit for him, and version of Chuck Berry's Memphis instrumental. So both of those instrumentals, Wham and Memphis, and really took off, and was, like I said, known as an instrumental guy. He was kind of lumped in there in the same category at that time as the Ventures, Dwayne Eddy, and all those guys that were Link Wray, an instrumental guy. But the difference with Lonnie is, like I said, he had pipes to die for. If you can get a copy, like I've got one right here that has Memphis Wham, that has the fraternity recordings on it, and there's a lot of stuff on here that you'll hear Lonnie singing, and just how incredible his voice is. But we kept in touch all through the years, and it was really cool. He found out really quick how much I knew about him and his music and how much I loved him, and he just thought that was great, because at that particular time especially, I was probably the youngest guy at both Beebe's and Lonnie's shows by a long shot, and he just thought that was cool. So he used to bring me backstage, and if he was coming around the area or he knew I'd be somewhere, he'd get a hold of me and you know, set me up with great seats. One of the last times he came through Chicago at Buddy Guy's Legends, he did the same thing. He had me right in the front. He had that, you know, Legends always had the side reserved for you to sit, but he worked it out with them where he put me right in the front. And that was just Lonnie. You know, he was that kind of guy who's really appreciative of all of his fans and just a super guy. You just felt like you were hanging out with one of the guys, because you were. I mean, he was one of us. You know, there was no star status about Lonnie, but boy, there sure should have been. If ever there was a rock and roll pioneer, it's that guy. Dickeybetts, countless other people, Mike Bloomfield, Jimi Hendrix, those guys all cite Lonnie Mack as a guy that, you know, man, I heard that and I was like, wow, I want to do that. I mean, Mike Bloomfield even said his finger vibrato he got that had that real exaggerated vibrato, he was copying Lonnie Mack. Now, he didn't realize it at the time that Lonnie was doing it with Bigsby, but there you go, it influenced him in that way. But Lonnie was incredible. Like I said, he had a big run there in the 60s. And then through the 70s and whatnot, he went more in a country direction. And years later, he reissued all that stuff and he sent it to me. I'm going to put some close-ups here. He would send me like signed copies of all this stuff. West Coast 70s cuts, Tennessee 70s cuts, and then Alabama, Tennessee 70s cuts. He would send me all that. In 1985, he had signed with Alligator Records, and they brought him back for another go-round at his career, and it was great because Lonnie got back out there in the limelight. Definitely pick up the Strike Like Lightning album produced by the late, great Stevie Ray Vaughan. This came out on Alligator Records in 1985, and Stevie plays on a lot of this stuff. They do double whammy, which is basically Wham redone with Stevie and Lonnie trading solos off, which is great. Oreo Cookie Blues is on here. I still perform that one at a lot of my live shows. Falling Back in Love with You and that stuff. Satisfy Susie. You can get a real taste of Lonnie's voice. Still had those incredible pipes. Attack of the Killer V, which was recorded at Fitzgerald's right here in Chicago. Live stuff, definitely pick that up. Like I said, if you can get a copy of the Live at Coco's, it's got that awesome version of Running Wild on there, which is just beautiful. That's the first thing I ever heard Lonnie play, and the first time I ever met him, so that song's always going to be my favorite and extra special to me. Second Sight, he put out, that's a great one too. He had a lot of other ones I don't have in front of me, but Roadhouses and Dance Halls stands out, that had like Two Rock for Country, Two Country for Rock and Roll. He had a moderate hit with that, and I want to say that was 88 or early 90s, late 80s, and Lonnie toured a lot during that time, and I remember he used to always tell people, you know, we do this for a living. He was real proud of that, and but it was really cool. He always kept in touch with me. I did an article for Buddy Guy's Legends magazine several years back, and I sent Lonnie several copies of it, and to my surprise, he mailed one back to me, and I'll see if I can put some pictures up, and he put like, Todd, great job, and he really enjoyed the fact that I put an article out. So, I mean, he was just an awesome, awesome guy, such a rock and roll pioneer, and such a great guy, and what an honor for me to say, you know, if you would have told me when I was a little kid learning Wham and Memphis and from the great Lonnie Mack that I would be able to call him a friend and hang out with him and be hanging around with him backstage while he was rolling his own cigarettes and whatnot. It was, I would have never believed it. Lonnie was, he kind of reminded me a lot of a older version of Dickeybetts in a way, because he was the greatest guy in the world, nicest guy in the world, but like Dickie, he wasn't a hard ass, but he didn't take any bullshit either. And I would see that where, people would give him bullshit, and he would a lot of times just say, I'm not going in that place anymore. They were complaining about something or whatever, and I don't need to deal with that. And he would just be out of there. So he didn't put up with bullshit, and I think that's a good way to live. None of us should put up with bullshit. So thank you, Lonnie, for teaching me that lesson. And Dickie too. But he's just a super great guy. So wanted to come on here, send out a salute to him on this day, April 21st, 2024. We lost Lonnie in 2016 on this day. 8 years it's been. I'll never forget you, Lonnie. You're so cool to me. Like I said, I'll try to throw some various pictures up of what I've got here. Countless guitar picks he would always hand to me. He would use those big black Gibson picks with his name on them. And whenever he would have me out to the shows, he'd always hit the last note, and a lot of times he'd reach right out and hand it to me. Or, he would stop. I remember him sticking it in his pocket, and then like the minute he'd be backstage, he'd come up and tap me and hand it to me, because like Dickie, he knew that I collect this stuff. This is what I do. This is what I'm into. If I'm not playing it, this is my football game. This is the other side of it, and I'm very into preserving and collecting the rock and roll and music memorabilia in general, blues stuff, whatever it is. And Lonnie knew that, and so it was pretty cool that he would always hook me up with stuff. I have various things that his instructional guitar video he put out years ago. He sent me a copy of that he had signed, and just various things. I have an inflatable flyingv guitar that he signed to me that you could blow up. I don't even know where he got that from. I think he said they were using them for promotional things or something. So Lonnie was always very cool to me in that sense, and I'm very grateful for that. So please comment below, you guys. Let me know what you think. Did you see Lonnie? Do you like Lonnie? Are you getting into his stuff now? Maybe. If not, check it out. Definitely check out, like we're saying, the awesome Live at Coco's if you get a chance to, and it's got that great version on there of Running Wild, and it's just fantastic stuff. But to any of Lonnie's stuff, he's got awesome guitar playing and singing on it. If you see Lonnie's name on it, get it, because you can't go wrong with any of it. But thank you so much, Lonnie. We love and miss you, my man, and you will never be forgotten. So put on some Lonnie Mack today and every day, and never forget the man. And please hit that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, you guys, and help me out. I appreciate it. Find me on Facebook at Todd Beebe Music, and we will see you all again. Thank you so much, and never forget Lonnie Mack. Stay safe and love your dogs. Take care.